2020. We got involved in 2019 under SB 276, where we lost all medical exemptions for K through 12, and we chained our lovely friend Erin here to the doors of the Capitol building because nobody in, nobody out. You guys want to do this to our kids? We're not going to let you get away with this anymore. And it's so important. I can't even express how important it is for you guys to know that you guys can make a difference. One person, two people, three, it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter where you came from. Quick background, I am a former gang member from Stockton, California. Very well with gangs. I was active until 2012, and then I went inactive because of what my husband told me about with the vaccine program. So I got pissed, and I linked up with Tara here, and we did some very, very revolutionary things in California. And we're going to talk to you about the wins that we've had, the defeats that we've had, and how we can bring course correction back to our state, because it can be done. I don't want anybody thinking that California is a sinking ship. We've actually been more active now than we've ever been with the parents, the people in the districts, and the kind of work that we do at the Capitol, where we're no longer asking legislators to listen to us. We're demanding that they talk to us as peer to peer. They're no better than us. Yeah, thank you for all coming out here. Thank you. One thing we want you to know is we're just like you. And we have, decided that, when you realize that the government or the doctors or the school or the regulatory agencies, when you realize that they're going to lie to you, that they're not going to have your best interest at heart, it frees you up to take control of your life like we were created to do, and design the world that we want for our children, a world of freedom, a world that is soul aligned. And until we take that position, it's really hard to just reimagine, because we come to this world thinking it's a certain way, but it's not. The world we want exists inside each one of us right now, and in an instant we can change it and make it exactly how we want with our choices, but we need each other to do it. And that's why I like to have each of you take whatever you had to get here tonight, and do whatever you have to walk the path in your life to this moment in time that we all found each other. Like, this is where the magic happens. This is what we call miracle frequency. And like, that is the vibe we have to hold, because we're not going to accept anything less for our children and for our families and for our human and civil rights. So, yeah. My background is I come from the deep woods. I also was active in environmental and social justice activism, what we look at as far left stuff back in the 80s and 90s. I'm 55, been at it a long time, living in the backwoods, and I, homesteaded, homeschooled. My kid is not part of the system, but I'm sure as heck not gonna let this system do anything to him or anyone else. So I stepped in, because even if you don't think you have a pony and a dog in the show, we all do. We're all in this together, and nobody's free until everybody's free.
Yes.
So, we know that you're harder to control when you have resources, right? You're very hard to control when, like, my son's homeschooled, but I have a son in public school. I'm still dealing with both systems. And what we did with Mom Militia is we created a community of women who were like, I don't want this society anymore because they're crazy. I want to rebuild something with the people and the women and the friends that I have, that I want my children to be around. And so with the Freedom Angels movement of United Counties of America, we train people in different counties on how to be effective, how to make relationships with legislators, because like it or not, we're a super majority of Democrats. We have to be able to talk to these legislators. We have to be able to hold conversations, and that doesn't happen when you heckle them and when you yell at them or anything like that. So Gabby, I'm going to bring it over to Gabby of how she created Stand Up Sacramento and has done an amazing job with the leadership portion of Mom Militia.
So when I met these guys at the Capitol in 2019, I have a son who's vaccine injured. And so we kind of all met each other there. None of us knew each other before 2019. And just that, us fighting a bill that would affect our kids, it effectively meant my son could not get an in-person education even if I wanted him to. We saw 2020 coming. We were sitting in a hearing when a bill titled AB 262 was passed, or when they were starting to discuss it, and we looked at each other, those of us that were in there, and we said, they're gonna try to take over in the next 2 to 5 years. AB 262 is what allowed public health to operate as the fourth branch of government under the emergency proclamation. We had 2 months, right? People started getting sick in November, we were shut down by March, and then the full tyranny exposed itself, which has been a blessing in some ways, because so many people have woken up to something's not right. I can't put my finger on it. I don't like it. Why are you teaching my kid this? Why are you shutting down my business? You don't have that authority. Oh wait, you do, you gave it to yourself, right? And so it got a bunch of us activated, and we were talking in 2020, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, where do I go? How do we fight this? And my mental health was affected because I could see it, and I didn't know what to do about it. And so they started doing a training in 2020 where they did a bunch of Zooms, and there were counties across the nation that they taught, here's what the Board of Supervisors is, here's what the City Council does, here's how you look up who the school board members are, here's talking points. And we started coordinating letters and pushing back on public health. And in Sacramento County, December 2020, we were able to push down an ordinance where they were trying to fine businesses anywhere from $500 to $10,000, misdemeanors, liens on your businesses, if somebody was caught in the business without a face mask. And so it was us, we were talking to bar associations and chambers of commerce, and there were record numbers when a lot of people were still too scared to come out of their home. We had record numbers at the County Board of Supervisors, like, hey, and it was the tipping point for our county because we had figured out who had the power to end it, right? And everybody at that point was playing scarecrow, like, oh, it's the governor, oh, it's them. And so they helped us be strategic in knowing where to funnel our energy so we weren't like buzzing bees chasing our tails while the agenda kept coming. And so that's part of what they're here to teach is now so many people have realized what's being taught to our kids, right? Not a single one of us, other than her older son, due to custody, we all homeschool. Right? So, but we recognize that our kids associate with public school kids, and they, even though we're trying to shield them from what they're being taught, they're still hearing it at the dojo. They're still hearing it sadly at church, right? Because your kids are at school more than they are in the church or in your home, and so you're having to fight that indoctrination, and so it does affect us even though we choose not to associate. So that's how we got started. And the Mama-lish is a whole different thing because it was like, okay, we see this, I want to be a part of this. And we saw the tyranny coming, and we were prepared in January. We knew, we don't know when the governor is going to make an order, but we recognized that bill, and we were stocking food. We were getting prepared. We were already researching PubMed and NIH on the patents and how to treat the thing that had no name at that point. And so we were ready for it, and so it was like, okay, now we need to teach other people. So you have the politics. We knew what was coming because of the political side, and then we realized we need to create this and help people prepare because there will be a next time.
Yes.